This really is the magic of Joe Hibbs, to continue, even when not here in person, to bring his drumming community family together. And we're here really for one reason alone, and that's to celebrate the life of Joseph Christopher Hibbs.
Hipster was like a brother to me, and he was the first one to offer to help me find many of you drummers for my book. He blessed my life. He would call me Julesy when I got mad at him, and I always called him Hipster. I just want to thank you here tonight to celebrate his life. Thanks so much, everybody.
The simplicity of this man's life was brilliant, and he lived every day in the music industry and loved it like all of us do. And he had the same work ethic that I have. I see him at every show, and I go, man, like you're the first guy here with me and the last guy out the door. And I miss the guy dearly, and I love him.
Sadly, the last time I saw him, I was trying to tell him, Joe, I just got done doing this thing, and he goes, Cole, most people would give their right arm, their left arm, and probably both of their legs to be in the position that you're in. Love it. The only thing that we can do now is not only look back at what a great person that he was, but carry it on to further things that we do in our lives.
Okay, turn up the lights, turn on some music, get some drinks going, or else this ain't for Joe Hibbs. Joe was a firm believer in the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Maybe y'all can identify with this. A very good morning to you, sir. We love you, Joe.
I want to read a quick handwritten note that was given to me by a great drummer who couldn't make it tonight. He said, I first met Joe in 1988, and we immediately became friends. He always was compassionate and truly concerned about me and my family. Joe touched us deeply, and he will always be my friend. I miss him, and he will be missed. Let's all keep sharing his memories, his stories, his life with every drummer you meet. Steve Gadd.
One of the things for me, the biggest, salute that I could ever give someone that is so missed for me, deeply in my heart. And Dom asked me to kind of play a small hand drum piece for Joe, and the drum that I'm going to do a short piece on is it's an Arabic hand drum. It was a drum that Joe really loved, and he would really come and because it's got so many different sounds, and he was really fascinated by it. And he said, in fact, it was great. He said, why don't I just do that, because the whole setup would be so much easier,
Joe used to work at a music store that we used to hang out at. And I went in there one day, and there was this 12-year-old kid with slacks and shoes and a short-sleeve white shirt and a tie. And the little kid walked up to me and said, "What's shaking?" So that was like the first time that he started using that line.
He was the real deal, man, okay? And I have to say, working in a bunch of companies, there is nothing like drummers and the camaraderie amongst drummers. He would say, listen, there's always that one guy, but there's 99 of really good guys, And I don't know, he'd always call you. What'd you hear? What's going on? Like, he was the Tom Hagen of the industry. He knew everything about every company, He would call you.
Joe worked extremely hard. However, Joe is probably the only person that taught me how to have a life outside of drums. Drums is great, he said, but when you're not behind the drums, you still gotta be a good person. When you're not behind the drums, you still gotta have a life. when it's all said and done and you're long gone, you still have to have people that knew you for you and could speak nothing but great things about you.
Elvin Jones was more than a great drummer. He was a great spirit of the instrument. Tony Williams, a great spirit of the instrument. And Joe was a great spirit of this right here, of us. He was a great spirit of the people in his circle, in every circle of this business.
There was this young little kid that I met when I got to the door, and a seed was planted. There was a spark that ignited right then. There was a guy that had compassion for the artists, for the music, and for drumming. I watched this seed grow over the next 40 years to the megastar legend of the drum business that Joe became. And if you don't remember the legend, remember the big hug, the big heart, and the big smile. Thank you.
But you know what? Through the years, I've been fortunate throughout my career to have some great mentors, and I'm very proud and honored to count Joe Hibbs as one of the real big ones.
You know, as artists, we rely on the artist reps so much, and he had an incredible way of giving without making you feel like you were asking for too much, and I'm very grateful for that. That has changed me as a man, as a father, and Joe taught me to always be sensitive to that.
He was so about making sure that young drummers got information, you know, and had a chance, especially from guys, you know, like us have been doing this for 25 years or whatever. He would call me and go, "Hey, Miller, you're going to get some phone calls, you know, just be nice to him, teach him something." You know, he was way into that. He was way into helping people and making sure that that information transferred.
You know, and then I saw him at NAMM for the first time in 2011 was my first NAMM. And it was like his 50th or something, I don't know. I saw him, and you know, this is how the man works. He greets the forklift operators by name, and then he asks after their kids by name. And it's like, and that's when I said, I get it. He's like this with everybody. And I remember him as the happiest man at NAMM because he was surrounded by the things he loved most: music, drummers, and drums.
Joe was a larger-than-life personality. He didn't know a stranger, and he didn't want you to be a stranger either. He was an amazing drummer, groove player, amazing person, amazing family man.
Many, many years ago, I was a young Bermuda Schwartz, and Joe reached out and touched me, and it was rather inappropriate. As I got to know Joe a little bit better throughout the NAMM shows throughout the years, I realized how genuine he could be at times. And I never forgot, you know, I always reminded him about this, and he put up with me telling him every time. And I told him just last year, I said, "I still have your letter." And I wish I could tell him again. And he is missed.
But you know, Joe, he taught me two things. He became a mentor to me in both playing music and in the music industry. And all along my career, Joe was always there. And I really miss Joe because he was just one of the most genuine, honest people in this industry. As you have all said, he was fun. He was always the one, if you were down, he was the first to get you up, make you smile, and have a good time. So, miss you, Joe.
Was Joe here? Half the buffet's gone. I never liked Joe Hibbs. It was Joe and the help with Dom. They found what I did, what my value was in the drumming community, and it was being a songwriter's drummer. They made me realize that I was that. No, I didn't like Joe Hibbs. I loved Joe Hibbs. And I miss him like everybody does.
What we have learned from Joe Hibbs and the stories that you have understood and felt, that there was an emotion behind everything that Joe did. There was a spirit he left with us, and he truly did believe in all of us, in this room and outside of that NAMM show and everyone that he met in the journey of his life. And he gave us something. He gave us a spirit to move forward, to understand the passion for music, do what you love doing, and work hard. He taught us that. So now I ask one thing from all of us. Let us prove Joe right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Hibbs.